welcome to the HIA-LI Trade Show. I'm Eliud Custodio with Turn One Studio, and I'm here with Kelly Murphy from Suffolk IDA. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. First things first, what is the Suffolk IDA?
The Suffolk IDA. So we are, a quasi-government agency. We're a
Okay.
New York State agency, and we work to foster economic development and growth here in the county. We do that by offering businesses financial incentives to encourage them to make private capital investment, retain and create jobs,
Okay.
and just stay here in the county.
Are these tax breaks? Are they cash rebates? Or what kind of financial incentives?
Well, good question. So they come in three different forms. So the first one is a mortgage recording tax exemption.
Okay.
So we exempt up to 0.75% of a 1.05% tax.
Okay.
The next one is sales tax, which is 8.75% in the county right
That's a
now.
big savings.
It is, because companies can use that for furnitures, fixtures, equipment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they move into a warehouse, they need shelving and racking and high-lows and
Right.
things like that. So we can exempt all of the sales tax during their setup time.
And that FF&E is often an expense that's taken all at once at the beginning when they're setting up.
That's exactly right.
All right. So
So
that's
it's
a lot of money to save.
yes, yes. And then the last one and the big one is the property tax abatement, also
Okay.
known as a pilot, payment in lieu of taxes.
Okay.
So
How does
we
that work?
we are a sales tax exempt agency. We convey that status to our clients.
Okay.
So we actually take them off the tax rolls, and in exchange, we send them what's called a pilot payment. So we have the ability to reduce taxes, primarily reduce the future assessed value of a property.
Okay.
So that savings works out to be about 28% over a 10-year time period.
Wow.
Yeah, so it really, it's meaningful savings, especially for the smaller
Sure.
and mid-sized companies, in order to encourage them to stay here. The primary focus for us is attraction and retention,
Okay.
but the reality is that the cost of doing business here is quite high.
Sure.
So attraction is really difficult in Suffolk County.
Right.
So to me, it's
Probably easier to retain than attract.
all the more reason for us to fight hard to keep the businesses that we have, to help them grow,
Right.
to give them a reason to stay here. Because everybody loves the quality of life, let's face it.
Yeah. People love
Right?
Long Island, in spite of the cost.
Exactly.
We love Long Island.
And this time of year especially, right? The
Yeah.
beaches, the golf courses, the
Yeah.
wineries.
As an aside, I always find it funny how people will, this time of year, take summer vacations and fly somewhere tropical. This is where you want to be this time of year.
Exactly. This is the reason we live here, right? Why
right.
go anywhere
why
else?
Fly to a beach. You live on
Yeah.
a beach.
I'm going to drive to a beach on the South Shore. But
As you should, right?
exactly.
What type of businesses are perfect to work with the IDA?
It's a really good question. For the longest time, it was just big industrial factories, right? But as change happens all the time, we've seen a big change. So we still, I would say our garden variety client would still be a manufacturer, distribution.
Okay.
However, we do a lot more now with energy, with solar and sustainable power. Occasionally, we don't, retail is an exemption for us.
Okay.
However, if a hotel, for instance, we helped a hotel that was in Huntington, because there's no hotels within,
Right.
a radius, right? So if the goods and services aren't available, we can help some of the
I
hotels.
didn't realize you were involved. I know the hotel you're talking about.
Yes.
Just process of
Yes.
elimination. That would not
Yes.
have been easy to do.
And the one in Northport also, which,
beautiful hotel.
it acts as a destination, right?
Yeah.
Especially Northport, because the boaters don't even have a place to stay, right? They have
That's true.
they have to go off their hook in the ocean. And so it
Yeah.
really gives everyone an opportunity. So, and also, quite frankly, multifamily housing.
Okay.
Affordable housing is an imperative, an economic development imperative.
Uh-huh.
Our CEOs and principals tell us all the time that they can't keep a highly skilled workforce because they have nowhere that's affordable for them to live. And everybody knows how expensive housing and apartments are.
Yeah.
And I hear that complaint a lot about apartments. But as we heard from one of the speakers at lunch today, It's really basic economics, supply and demand. We are so far below, the number of units in terms of rentals.
Right. I've been hearing that a lot lately.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
really.
in the for the longest time it was understood in the Hamptons.
Yep.
The workforce in the Hamptons very often can't afford to live in the Hamptons or
Yeah.
that the whole Fork, whole
Yeah.
South Fork. So commuting back and forth makes it very difficult. I even actually heard that with education
Yep.
and teachers not being able to afford to live where they teach, and
Right.
it being a challenge to get good talent there. But that's really throughout Long Island now.
It is. And it's important to know when we say affordable housing, that means teachers, that means policemen, that means, a lot of, retail workers. So, affordable is a relative term on Long Island,
Sure.
right? So,
You had mentioned solar before. Do we manufacture solar stuff here, or is it just reselling or?
to my knowledge, we don't.
Okay.
But the Suffolk County IDA recently passed a policy for encouraging businesses to put solar on their roofs.
Okay.
So the county executive has started up a Solar Up Suffolk program since he came into office.
Right.
And he's passionate about getting solar on flat roofs all throughout the park.
Plenty of them.
There
Yeah.
are. And we actually just had our first company. They were located right on the corner here. Mason Technologies is availing themselves of this enhanced pilot and will be putting solar on their rooftop.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So
good
I know
stuff.
you've done some work specifically in the park, the HIA park.
Yes,
Share a little bit about that.
I shall. So probably about 50% of our business is with businesses that are located within the Innovation Park.
Okay.
So Terry and I have worked together for the last decade. We joke that every time we get together, we walk away and we have 5 new projects that we have to work on. So we try
Nice.
not to get together too often.
Sure.
But we've done a lot of work looking at how to bring the park into the 21st century, how to really update it. And so there's a lot of synergies for us because our mission and goals are very similar, right? It's to foster economic development growth, enhance the quality of life for the residents of the county, doing that by increasing the tax base. So keeping businesses and helping them grow increases the tax base, which helps to level out those taxes for everybody else.
Yeah. That's wonderful. If our viewers want to get involved with the Suffolk IDA, how do they do so?
Oh, that's easy. So there's 2 ways to do that. They can just pick up the phone and call us. Our number is 631-853-4802. Or they can go on our website. So it's suffolkida.org. And there's a form that you can fill out, contact us, and we'll reach out to you. But you can just call us. We'll answer the phone. We'll talk to you. And we'd love to do that because a lot of times businesses come to us after the fact and say, well, we didn't know that you were here.
Right.
We didn't know this was available. So call us early and call us often.
Fantastic. Kelly, this is wonderful.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.